Hi and welcome to the walkthrough video for Vengeful Bass. This is a double bass library with a lot of articulations, including some real weird ones, and the ability to layer any of those for even more weirdness, as you just heard. That was just chords using one instance of the bass. Let's just quickly go through all the articulations, because there are lots to go through, as you can see from the number of key switches on the screen. First, you get regular sustains and staccato. Sustains and staccato played sul ponticello and scratchy molto sul ponticello. There's also sul tasto, both sustains and staccato, recorded very quietly with the preamp boosted. This is very warm but kind of hollow, and sustains are a little unstable because it's not easy to consistently bow a note this quietly. So far it's reasonably normal, but then we get to the tremolo. Instead of trying to be smooth and even like they'd want me to be in an orchestra, I recorded it totally ragged. And yeah, I recorded it means I both hit the record button and played notes on my bass. Turn up the unison control to bring in 2 extra voices. Unison works with any articulation except for the harmonics, but with the tremolo it's really extra fun because now you get 3 ragged chaotic sounds going on at once. And then do that thing everybody says is bad and play a block chord using double bass samples. It's just huge. I'm going to turn off the legato mode for this, which is a good time to mention that the legato here is all simulated and available for every articulation. And there is this wind noise articulation, basically bowing quickly with the string muted instead of fingered. It's mostly noise, but with a little discernible pitch. I sampled it chromatically. It's a lot of fun to hold down a couple of notes with this sound and bend the pitch upwards. You get 3 types of spiccato: normal spiccato, spiccato played with the tip of the bow which sounds almost like pizzicato, and ghost spiccato which is recorded with the string muted. Not sure if anybody has sampled ghost spiccato before, but it's something I would do pretty frequently live to add more rhythmic texture, especially when playing with no drummer. And obviously we're not talking classical context here. Anyway, key switching between ghost spiccato and regular spiccato, or ghost spiccato and regular staccato, you can do stuff like this. Jet is also recorded in both normal and ghost versions. And next after that you get really scratchy violent cola shorts. Then there are chops, another technique that really works more like a drum sound. It's bowing parallel to the string instead of across it. This really has no discernible pitch at all, but higher notes still sound brighter, so you can kinda sorta play melodies on it. All the samples are totally dry and I've put a bit of reverb on the sound throughout the walkthrough, but I'm going to turn it off here for the chops just to show how dry these sounds can get. Chops with all the bow noise are a good sound to show this with. Ricochet chops are similar, but letting the bow bounce a couple times instead of forcing it down onto the string. It's very sound effectsy. Turn on unison and the ricochet chops can sound like giant insects running around under your floorboards. I wanted to say something about how some of these sounds are great for horror movies, but then I realized I probably haven't seen any horror movies made in the past 20 years, so, well, I hope they are great for horror movies, but I'm not going to pretend I actually know. So, enabling the reverb again, diagonal bowing is not really all that scratchy, but more like hissy, and it has some discernible pitch. There are two types of pizzicato, each with matching ghost notes. There is regular pizzicato played with the side of the index finger like most jazz bassists. And yeah, I'm going to blatantly reuse a motif from the Vengeful Cello walkthrough because I still think it's funny. And fat pizzicato played with the tips of 3 fingers for warmer sound. With both kinds of pizzicato, you can also add release noises, muting noises, slaps, and body percussion. And we're almost to the end of the articulations list. There are also bowed harmonics. Unstable harmonics where I let the finger slip until the sound turns into uncontrolled screeching. And finally, the last one, pizzicato harmonics. All this adds up to more than 5,000 dry, close mic double bass samples taking up more than 2 GB of disk space. In addition to key switching between articulations, you can also load single articulation instruments, but that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is that you can also layer articulations with each other in either reasonable or unrealistic combinations. This gets complicated, but let's start with simple layering of longs. You can, for example, crossfade between regular sustains and ponticello or between sul tasto and wind noise. You can also have a short at the start and then crossfade between 2 sustains, which can be used to create the giant sound at the beginning of this video, but can also be used for emulated marcato. People really seem to like the ability to blend different syllable starts and vowels in our Hadziha choir, and that's basically where I took the idea from. It happens to work very nicely with strings. Finally, you can layer 2 shorts, one for the start of the note and one for the tail, and combine, say, diagonal bowing with fat pizzicato. But you can also do more conventional things here and make even worse pizzicato variations than the 3 that I sampled. For example, put the grittier attack of the ghost spiccato at the start of a regular spiccato note. It's nice to try something weird and new and get weird new sounds, but the really awesome part is doing something weird and new and finding out that it can also be used to make new sounds that are actually reasonably normal. You can also try regular spiccato to start and then fade in staccato sul tasto for spiccato with a big fat body. So that's just a few of the literally hundreds of combinations that you can make through layering these articulations. This is obviously a matching library for Vengeful Cello, which was named after Vengeful Spirit from Dota 2. Now, I'll admit I never heard of Dota 2 before the cellist suggested that as a name and had to look up what it was, so Vengeful Bass is instead named after Vengeful Spirit from Warhammer. Not a huge Horus fan, obviously more of an orc boy, but I figure it's close enough. You can get both of them named after both Vengeful Spirits at shop.calorifer.com. If you like them, tell a friend. If you like them and you don't have any friends, tell an enemy. And thanks for watching.